how Iran and Israel moved from quiet partnership to open-ended conflict. In the mid-20th century, the Middle East ran on cold logic. Iran under the Pahlavi monarchy and Israel aligned on the map, not from shared culture, but shared threats. Israel faced an inner ring of hostile Arab states, able to isolate it and squeeze it economically, so it built ties with non-Arab powers at the region's edges, a perimeter-style strategy. For the Shah, this wasn't a side channel. It fit his larger project, a modern Western-facing Iran acting like a regional power, not a state boxed in by ideology. The partnership traded essentials. Iran helped keep Israel supplied with energy, while Israel offered intelligence, security know-how, and military expertise, reinforcing the Shah's control at home. Cooperation moved into the state's machinery. Intelligence training, internal security methods, military modernization, and select development projects became contact points, practical, technical, and designed for regime stability. But inside Iran, that efficiency carried a cost. To religious and traditionalist communities, the alliance looked like moral capitulation, proof the monarchy chose Western approval over Islamic identity. Over time, the same security system that protected the throne deepened public resentment, and resentment, piled up quietly, eventually stops being complaint and becomes movement. In October 1971, the Shah staged a global message. Iran was not just stable, it was destined. He wrapped his rule in the ancient past, presenting monarchy as the heir to imperial memory. Near Persepolis, the celebration was built like a film set. Desert turned into an oasis for visiting leaders, lavish, choreographed, designed to project prestige. But the public watched a different story. They saw spectacle while daily life stayed hard, and a monarchy that seemed closer to foreign elites than its own streets. The symbolism cut deeper than the bill. It widened a psychological gap. The state began to look like it belonged to someone else. And once that gap is visible, factions that normally disagree can share one line: "This isn't our country anymore." The Islamic Revolution didn't just remove a ruler, it replaced the system. The monarchy fell, a revolutionary theocracy rose, and Iran's identity was rewritten from the inside. Under Ayatollah Khomeini, Israel stopped being a partner and became a defining enemy. The Israeli embassy in Tehran was transferred to the Palestinian cause, a clear signal of ideological realignment. In the decades that followed, the rivalry became structured. Iran leaned into asymmetric warfare, using armed partners and proxy networks, applying pressure without a direct state-on-state war. That made the conflict persistent and deniable. Through groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, Iran could keep Israel under stress while keeping the battlefield beyond Iran's borders. Israel answered with layered defenses, especially Iron Dome, meant to stop rockets and drones before they reach cities. But the deeper issue isn't just military, it's economic. Defense is costly, and offense can be cheap. Saturation tactics, volleys meant to overwhelm interceptors, turn war into attrition, where the bill becomes part of the strategy. For Israel, Iran's nuclear program became an existential threshold, and when existence is the stake, normal deterrence grows unstable. So the struggle shifted into the shadows: sabotage, cyber operations, covert disruption, and targeted attacks designed to slow progress without igniting a regional inferno. But by June 2025, the shadow war began leaking into open action. On June 22, 2025, the United States struck Iranian nuclear sites at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that, escalation felt less like a risk and more like a calendar. From the 1950s to the 2020s, this is a lesson in ideology overpowering pragmatism. Once both sides define the contest in absolutes, faith, survival, legitimacy, compromise starts to look like betrayal. The Islamic Republic also carries an internal contradiction. A revolutionary state governing a society that has outgrown revolutionary patience. As time passes, the founding myth has to work harder to persuade. That pressure surfaced during protest waves after the death of Mahsa Amini in 2022. Even symbolic acts, like the reported burning of Khomeini's ancestral home, signaled more than anger. They signaled defiance toward sacred symbols. Demographics sharpen the tension. Iran remains relatively young, with estimates placing the average age in the low 30s, meaning many don't remember 1979 as liberation, only as inherited control. So the region sits in a familiar place, not at peace, but between escalations. The pause can last, but unless the drivers change, the shadow over the next act remains. If you watch us, it means you're growing with us.